Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Being Human with Rory. It is so good to be here. I'm just so grateful, and I'm really excited to have some time to hop back on, to be able to connect with you guys, to share a little bit about myself so that we can become acquainted a little bit deeper. I've been loving having the opportunity to share these videos with you guys about things that I incorporate in my life, things that are so deeply, deeply ingrained in my everyday life. And so today, I just want to give a little bit of a backstory of me. I think that for us to create this connection, this bond that I think is so beautiful, this is really important. It'll allow you to really understand just where I've come from, what I've gone through, and where I'm currently at. And so I'd love to just kind of jump right into that so that we can have some fun because I'm just feeling so awesome and this is exciting. I'm loving coming out of my shell. I'm loving expanding. I'm loving connecting with new people. And so thank you for being here. But yeah, so anyway, my name's Rory. I have decided to do these videos and I'm calling them Being Human because that's just what I've been navigating throughout my life is learning how to be human. I think so many of us are, and we don't really talk about the strangeness that we are all here existing and that this just is a thing. And so I have created this channel so that way we can connect over various topics, things that I navigate through in my life. And it's important to know that I really do have more of a spiritual focus, a connection with spirit, with all that is, was, ever will be, in my own ways, of course. I think we're all different in that. And, you know, what I'll share with you as we dive into this will allow you to understand really where or why I've come to the places that I'm at now. And so I grew up in central New Hampshire in like the east coast of the United States. And I still live close to there, but I grew up in this really small town and life was pretty normal. I played a few sports, blah blah blah, same thing. Anyway, I at I don't even know. It's like the later stages of grade school started to deal with what most would call depression. And a lot of people, actually, I don't know that really anybody knew that I was actually dealing with this to the extent that it was. But when I went to college, which I went to college in Boston, Massachusetts, I got a design degree. And so when I was there, this depression expanded rapidly. Okay. And it became something that just like overtook my life. I was in a place in the city where I grew up in a small town, so it's like total discombobulation of myself. And it made me feel extremely lost, disconnected. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know how to be. And my whole world kind of twisted and turned and made me feel all these really friggin' weird ass ways. Don't mind my French, but it's so true that I just like went down, hit rock bottom, and was having an extremely difficult time. This was like the opening of what I would call my truest dark night of the soul, right? Now that I look back and I understand all of this. And it was horrific. I mean, I laugh about it now, but back then I'm amazed I made it through it. That's the truth. I used to harm myself in many, many ways. I was into drugs and alcohol and all of this stuff because I was trying to learn how to exist by feeling because I was feeling so much. And it was too much. And so I was trying to escape in any way I possibly could. I was like addicted to getting high or intoxicated so that I could feel free, even though it was a temporary and illusionary freedom. But so I went through, extreme depression where I eventually came to this place. Somebody had come into my life and basically helped me to continue to live. And I had to one day choose if I was going to end it or if I was going to continue on. And that's just the harsh reality of what it was. And I say this so lightheartedly because, you know, it was extremely difficult, but I don't want it to seem like a pity party now because I'm so grateful for what it was, for what it taught me, for what it put me through, even though in the moment it's not fun at all. I don't wish it upon my worst enemy and beyond. And so, when I made that decision of one day I have to figure out how to live, when I made that decision of I got to do this or else it's like I can't be depressed anymore. I either had to figure it out or I'm not going to do this anymore. And I couldn't disappoint everyone in my life, so I knew that I had to figure it out. And I have been going to therapists. I have been doing a lot of stuff because I was bad. And so my parents made me go to therapists and everything. And I was begging for help because I wasn't going to make it. And the truth is, the therapist helped me. I was on antidepressants and everything, but it came to this place where I realized the antidepressants were making me just numb. They weren't healing any problems, they were covering up all of it. The therapists were good. I had one that was amazing. I loved her, but then she moved on and I couldn't work with her anymore. And I never found another one that I connected with in that way. So it just felt like I was going in circles of just sitting and stewing in my own misery. And I was like, this is not how I want to live my life. I need to figure out a better way of going about this. I didn't want to be on antidepressants forever. I sure as heck didn't want to be going to the therapist all the time because it was just like, so how are you feeling today? It was like dry people that there are amazing therapists out there. I had a hard time finding them. So I took everything into my own hands and I said, I'm getting off my antidepressants. I don't recommend it. Go to your medical professional. I'm not telling you what to do. This is just what I did. But I got off my antidepressants cold turkey. And it was very strange when that happened because you're not really supposed to do that. So it was hard in so many ways. I felt like I was floating some days and I was so just like out of it. But it really did allow me to pull myself into seeing who I really was, right? Because it wasn't covering up the symptoms anymore. It was letting me see what was actually going on. And so that was the first step. Stopped going to a therapist because I don't know, over time I just kind of faded it out. It was a lot of money and everything and I was like, I'm going to do this myself. I got to learn how I work as Rory Stevens. So, I kind of jumped onto this, what I would call a spiritual path, but I don't even know that it's, you know, the term spiritual path to me is so interesting because, like, I believe being human is spiritual. So just my existence and figuring out how to be a human has been my spiritual journey in the eyes of others. To me, it's just I'm figuring out how to live, how to align with the universe, how to be a human being that is like in nature intertwined with it so that I could work instead of because something was pushing against nature. That's why I wasn't feeling good. It was like this repelling. Excuse me. And anyway, I dove into so many self help books. You know, Thich Nhat Hanh, it was Eckhart Tolle, it was Ram Dass was my favorite person in the world, and that's why I quote him so many times because I just love him. His energy is beautiful, and he's just so awesome. And I wish that he was still around so I could go be friends with him in Maui or whatever. But anyway, I was just absorbed in, you know, these spiritual teachings, a lot of newer teachers, but also I was, into everything. And yeah, I mean, I think that going in, learning from the writings of these individuals, their talks, and all of this stuff really opened my mind to allow me to tune into myself, to find words to go towards the things that I felt, but I couldn't put words towards. So during that time, everything started to come together. I was having these epiphanies. I was starting to understand the thoughts the programming of my mind. I was even understanding what programming was because I came to these realizations mostly myself. Of course, the books stimulated stuff, but it just made me have these aha moments over and over and over. And so, continue through that. There was points where I was caught up in not very healthy things, you know, going to a lot of music shows, doing drugs. I was still involved in that because I was, still trying to figure out how to feel. And drugs had always been my go to in a lot of ways. And so, fast forward, I kind of got out of that scene of going to shows and hanging out with people and doing a lot of substances I really probably shouldn't have been doing, of course. I realized it wasn't leading me forward. It was making me just go in circles and I wasn't actually expanding. I was just stuck in this like trap. So I kind of just like up and left. And I didn't do it in a healthy way. I like left the girl I was with anyway. And I just went back to my parents in central New Hampshire. And I found an apartment, and this is like kind of where everything starts to come together. I had found an apartment and I lived in it by myself in this, isolated time because all of my friends were back where I was. I hung out with some people, but the isolated time made me like really dig in deep. And I was kind of battling with this, like, going out and having drinks or doing things I shouldn't be doing because it was like the old self-sabotaging coming through while this new like aware consciousness was coming in from the background and saying, no, this stuff isn't in alignment anymore. Like, learn how to be, feel your stuff, move through this. And it was this crazy deep dive into understanding myself much further and how I was programmed, how I am as a human, how my mind works. And it was just like, I don't know why it was almost so easy for me to see this stuff. Where I talk with other people, they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean? You don't know? And so it all came around. And I got to this place eventually where I don't know how, but I had come across really psilocybin chocolates and I started to work with those. And when I started to work with them, it wasn't even, it was just like recreational. Like I said, I was doing other substances and this was different than what I normally did. But what it did was completely transformational instantly. The psilocybin chocolates, which I don't know. I don't necessarily recommend chocolates anymore. You don't know what's in them because it's not regulated. But back in the day, I was like, I didn't know better. When I connected with it, the first thing it did was made me feel love. That's it. It was like I had never felt love before in this way. It allowed me to feel. I didn't even realize how disassociated, how disconnected from my feelings I had become because I was disassociated to such an extent. You know, when I had depression, it was so overwhelming with all of these emotions. It was the emotions of the world on my shoulder, making me just drown in it. When I was feeling that, I had to cut them out so that I could continue to survive. I didn't realize how much my new norm was not really feeling. When you're in it, you say, yeah, I feel. And then you realize when you actually feel like I did during that moment, everything changed. It opened up like a giant sunrise in my mind, like, ah, and I was like, what? This is what this feels like? And it was so authentic and unconditional. And it was just like spirit's love pouring into me. And so I was like, there's something to this. And I started working with the psilocybin mushroom a little bit from here. And it was just not super deep dives, but it was connecting with it to build that euphoria almost, that like, I don't know, the feelings that were within me so that I could just like almost reprogram myself into knowing how to feel again. And so I did this for a little bit and then this is such a strange thing, but it's like the biggest turn of my whole life is I was at a Kohl's and I came across this young woman, beautiful young woman, and we happened to be parked next to each other and she came and knocked on my window basically. said, "Hey, I work with psilocybin." No, she said, "Hey, I work with plant medicines, sacred plant medicines. I figured that maybe you'd be interested." I'm like, "Wait." In my mind, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, what do I look like? Are you stereotyping me?" Of course, I didn't say that. It's just beautiful. And I'm like, "Okay, I'm definitely interested." She gave me her business card. Eventually, we got together and we got tea, you know? And this is a funny thing. I actually emailed her because only her email was on the card. And I at first emailed her, "Oh, do you want to get drinks?" Because that's the old version of myself. But then the newer conscious awareness came in and said, "That's not how you want your friendship." So I emailed her back and I said, "You know what? I want to do a reintroduction. I don't really want to go get drinks with you. The old version of me would. Do you want to go get tea?" And we did. And it started off so beautiful because of that. And from there, she had just founded a psilocybin church. That's the truth. It was like spirit serendipitously connected us and we started to like really connect. And so we just like dove in. She had just registered this church with the state of Massachusetts and was holding ceremonies for people. And I started helping her build out, the website and all of these more official documentation type of things. And then I was starting to sit and hold space with her, and I was sitting with the mushroom much, much more and microdosing like every day, and then doing bigger journeys to really connect with it and learn and expand myself. And when I did this, it just like shifted my entire freaking life. Okay. So, obviously I needed to cultivate a deeper connection with the mushroom. So I was holding space with her while she led this. Eventually it got to the place where we were like partners, whatever you want to say. She was like almost the divine feminine and I was the divine masculine, if you want to look at it like that. It just balanced. I eventually, after a year or something, became our board of directors voted me in as the associate minister of this church. And so Sacred Earth Sanctuary is a church. And, so the past 4 years, I've worked with this wonderful woman, Christina, and we have run this psilocybin church, and it's been incredible. It just like holding space, connecting with the mushroom in this beautiful, beautiful, profound way, because the mushroom has helped me so much to be able to have this introspective reflections, to understand how I work, to understand how the mind works, how I am connected with something bigger, how all of it blends together, the creation, all of these things. Of course, they're just the insights I've had from the mushroom. I don't know if they're real or not, but to me, it's just my beliefs. We'll never really know what the entirety is or the truth of this or that. We just won't. It's impossible to know. And so, after 4 years, there's 395 members of this church. Me and Christina have held space for over 200 something people, and we do group ceremonies. We have a community we've built. It is beautiful. There are so many beautiful people that are doing these deep dives into themselves to look at the stuff they need to. We're in this place right now where the old ways are falling away, and we have to look at ourselves to see where we have to transform, to see where we have to shift, to be able to move into this new way of being. Because the old stuff is just like garbage. I'm sorry, but you can see how the systems are crumbling right now. And it's intimidating, especially here in America. It's strange. But the truth is that we got to shift, we got to change. And more and more research is coming out that psilocybin mushrooms and other plant allies, of course, they are helping us to move through traumas, to heal depression, to navigate our beings, to understand our humanness, our connection to the divine. All of these plant allies are coming in to really allow us to see ourselves. And so seeing these individuals come in and connect, it's been amazing. And it just feels so profound because it feels like it's my little way of giving back to the world by allowing people to connect with something bigger, to themselves, and to really wake up. And so through this whole process at the church, we do deep dive ceremonies, okay? And we're a tiny little church, like I said. You know, I'm in my place here, and we have a beautiful big tent, which I'll put a picture up or whatever so you can see. And we do these stunning ceremonies. It's incredible. And, you know, the mushroom is a teacher. It's not me, it's not Christina. We are just learning from spirit, and we're holding space for people to connect. And as I've moved through these deep dives, I've started to kind of I've taken more of a step back because I've realized how much my bigger mission right now is to actually integrate into being a human here. And so I have seen the mushroom has shown me time and time again now. I had a little bit of time to really take this in. It's showed me, like, Rory, why are you here again? Go do the work. Go back into life. Be Rory. Create who you are. Do what you know you're supposed to do. And making these videos is part of that. It is a starting process of creating this impact in the world of inner evolutions. And so I saw, as I stepped back from the deeper journeys, that microdosing was still a huge, huge, huge part of my life. And it is, I love the mushroom. It's beautiful. And so I connect with it in the microdosing form, where that's a subperceptual amount. It doesn't impact you in the deeper ways that a big journey does. It's just this little bit for a heightened, almost breath of fresh air awareness. And so I have, you know, started to open up, and this is where I created Inner Evolutions. Inner Evolutions is my coaching business. I was an engineer before, just so you know, little tidbit into that. I was an engineer for 8 years after I got out of college. But this past year, you know, I got laid off because Spirit told me it's time. It was so divinely orchestrated. I'm not even going to get into that, but it was. And it was just like, okay, thank you, Spirit. Let's do this. And it pushed me out into the world more, of not running to get another 9 to 5 and running into doing what I feel divinely called to do. And that is to help other people wake up, to help people reconnect with their divine nature, to help people find joy within themselves, underneath all of the layers of the fear and all of the stuff that's been pushed and programmed within us without us realizing. I have felt this divine call because of my path to help people move through depression, especially, and anxiety, especially. And I have started doing this, you know, for the past year. I've been running Inner Evolutions, and I've been, excuse me, geez, confirmation bursts left and right. I've been building this beautiful thing. More and more people are starting to connect. I'm trying to build this community, and you guys here you are a part of my community. It's just the way it is. All of this energy comes together to build something beautiful, and it was the start of the transformation of the world, in my opinion. It's already happened. It's already starting everywhere. You can see it. This is why many times now I've talked about that great awakening, and though that term has become like cliche and just exploded, it is true. We are waking up. It's inevitable. And so Inner Evolutions is my little tiny sliver in the whole, to be able to help people reclaim their divine awareness, their divine power, and, you know, help the world so maybe we can create something beautiful. Like, I really believe we're on the way to something beautiful, and us coming together to talk about this stuff is part of that. And so for the past year, I've been doing this coaching through my own practice, and it's become something beautiful. Of course, it's anything slow to start, but it's starting to speed up more and more. I'm starting to connect with more people, having these transformational breakthroughs with individuals. I've been running microdosing groups where people are having huge breakthroughs and starting to just see the world differently. I do one-on-one coaching, I do group coaching, all of this. I'm building courses, I'm building these free resources, which I can put some below for you to look at. And all of this is starting to just like be built. It is the foundation of something big and beautiful. And I'm excited because I love it. I mean, if you could feel what I feel about this is my true passion of my life. It's like, okay, I'm starting to build what my calling is. My calling is to impact the world by bringing hope. God, we need some hope. And that is what we are doing right here by hanging out. We're building hope. We're feeling the good feelings. We're creating a world that's beautiful. And so I've gone from being this person that was morbidly depressed. I didn't know that I would make it this far. And part of my journey has been discovering who the version of me, Rory, is after the times I thought I would be done. It's like just walking in the dark and creating as you go, and I love it. It's beautiful, but it's interesting too. And so I've been just really imagining, I've been just manifesting, I've been building, I've been creating. It's just been beautiful. And so I just wanted to share me. I wanted you to know what I've gone through so that we can connect deeper because all of us have gone through so much difficult stuff. And if I could be anything, it is a tiny beacon of hope for this world. For people to see that you can go through the depths of hell and not know that you are going to make it out and still make it out. And even if you don't know what the heck you're doing, you can still make it through. If you just put one foot in front of the other, in front of the other, start to see one foot in front of you after another, and then you just magically move along the path. And so, with this world that is so interestingly difficult to navigate, it is so interestingly difficult, we can make something beautiful in it. That's the truth. And I am here to be standing with you all together while we do that together in our own little ways. And I believe that if we turn inward and we really understand how we work as humans, if we start to connect and have faith with something bigger, something that is about expansion and creation in a stunning and free way, then we can make life be what it's meant to be. Every person, I don't care, every single person, even the ones that you say, oh, they don't deserve it because they're bad, I believe they deserve it too. We all deserve to heal. We deserve to come into our authentic ways of being. We deserve to expand, to love, to feel love, to be in love, to just dance and have a good time and make this world something beautiful. We have to be grounded in reality. It can't be all love and light. We have to go into that darkness. And that's something that's been a big part of my journey is understanding and mastering the darkness. Of course, I'm learning every day how to do better and better, how to show up better, how to love better, how to be better as Rory. But together, we're all doing that. And so I share this because I am just like you. Just like you. And you just like me. And we together can be just human beings. That's why this channel is Being Human. Because we can be human beings together and join together in our things that connect us. So much is it's trying to separate us. It's trying to make us go against each other, and we need to come together with the common knowing that we're human beings having a strange ass human experience, trying to figure out how to walk around and make money and live and survive and move through all of the catastrophes and the beautiful things and life. We're all just walking around. No one's got that handbook. No one. But if we have conversations like this more and more and more, then we start to understand that we are all similar. We all are here and want the same thing, to live in a free, beautiful world where we aren't just like scared to live. I don't know. So my quest is to bring hope to the world, to help people navigate themselves, to help create community so that we can all find people who are like us. Because we're all like us. We just have to take the damn masks off and we have to be able to be strong and vulnerable to share our true selves in the stories we have experienced. Why not share our life experience as a collective? It's a beautiful thing to be here for one another, even if it's just for support, a shoulder to cry on, a ear to listen, an eyeball to watch the comments or the hearts or the love or this or whatever. For us to come together is stunning, and it needs to just be normal. And I want this to be a part of that normal movement towards collaborative awakening, healing, love, and just beauty. And so that is me. And I want to know if you connect with this story. So many people in this world right now are having struggles, and I struggle still. It's my life. It's true. You know, I'm not perfect. You don't just get rid of everything. You learn how to dance with it. That's what I do, is I learn how to dance with it and teach other people the dance moves. And then we all dance together and have fun. So if you connect, if you feel this in your heart, if you want to learn more, if you are curious about how to move through maybe struggles that you are going through, I am here. Comment below. Like, subscribe, hang out, because we're doing this together. It's me and you and all of us as a whole, a collective, a beautiful, just like human being collective, dancing around and having fun and laughing and loving and smiling. It's so good. So have fun. Have fun. Open your heart, share your truth so you can accept yourself and love yourself and move forward and expand and grow like we are all trying to do. Before you know it, we're going to build something beautiful because it's already on its way. And so, I love you. Thank you for witnessing me, for holding space for me as I share my truth. And of course, there's so much more, but this is a little overview of who the heck I am. And I love you. And I really do. And I'm so grateful for you, for being here, for sharing these moments with me, and for doing the work that you're doing to make this world something beautiful. So I love you. I'll see you so soon.